Hello and welcome to the latest Tractor Girls Talk podcast. My name's Katy Sandalls. I'm the women's football columnist for the East Anglian Daily Times and the Ipswich Star. I'm joined, as per always, by the photographer maestro himself, Ross Halls. How you doing, Ross?
I am very well, but also tired. But I've got a fresh trim,
Fresh trim?
so
Nice,
I'm happy.
nice.
So yeah, happy job.
Debuting it on the pod.
Yeah, well, of course, if you're listening to this, you can't see it, but I'm happy with it. So there we go.
If you want to see it, check us out on YouTube. We're there. You can see our
Hi.
faces. Hi. You
Yeah.
can see my lovely collection of plants that need watering. Yes, I'm sorry, they do. But yeah, well, it's been a packed week since we last did our last podcast. Lots to talk about. Lots of big games. Town's been buzzing, really. It's 3 times a charm, Ross.
Yeah, it's as I said last week in the last pod, it's just great that they got up and running, playing games again, competitive games, and 3 wins out of 3, 10 goals scored, 0 conceded. What a way to start Tier 3 football for the Tractor Girls, and I'm sure we'll talk about all the key points, but it's just been fantastic.
So we've got 2 games to talk about today since we last recorded. Town were at home, back at the Gold Star for their first game of this first home game of the season against Crawley Wasps, and then they were headed away out to Kent to play Gillingham on Tuesday night. Let's start at Sunday then. Back in front of a home crowd for the first time. Well, for the first time in a league game in goodness knows how long, Ross. It must have just been, obviously had that pre-season game, but it must have just been nice to be home for a competitive fixture.
Yes, it was just great to see fans back. It's been great to see fans back in general, because I cover the men's team as well, and it's been amazing to see all the fans at Portman Road. But I always look forward to the Gold Star on a Sunday, and you see the familiar faces. I know a lot of the familiar faces listen to the pod, so hello. And it's great to see them back at the Gold Star ground. They come in their numbers. It was the most fans at a ground at our level of the Football National League. I'm sure you've got the stats up there. 269 in attendance, but breaking records as always.
Town have always been known for their very good attendances, and they, in Tier 4, they were generally sort of above and beyond any of the other teams, and they're continuing that this season. Like you say, 269, well ahead of anybody else for Sunday's game. It's just great to see that, not only are the team doing well, but they have got that support behind them locally, and it really does make them stand out from other sides.
Yeah. And of course, that the players, they love that as well. Players, like anybody want to be playing in front of spectators, and I'm sure that they appreciate that. That they bring out the flags, it just brings a bit of atmosphere to the game. And it was just great once again to have a competitive game at the Gold Star. And we had a very good game indeed. Not many goals, only the one, but a lot of chances.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we said, obviously, if you listen back to the last podcast, it was a bit of a goal fest against Hounslow for that first game of the season. But it was kind of expected to be that way. Hounslow sort of traditionally haven't been a stronger side. And, if Town hadn't gone that many goals up, 6-0 in the end, I think we'd have worried slightly. Crawley, of course, we said Town don't have the best kind of form against Crawley historically. It's a tough side. It was always going to be a tough game, quite evenly matched at points. And like you say, 1 goal in it from Captain Fantastic herself, Blue Wilson. I think Joe was saying after the game, he thought he'd seen the goal of the season last week at Hounslow. Well, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to call, Ross.
Yeah, move aside, Lucy O'Brien. Well done for your great goal. But Blue Wilson, step up. What a goal. I didn't appreciate it as much as I did watching it back. I think when I was in person, once again, I wasn't paying attention too much. I looked up and I saw Blue and she hit home. I was a little bit annoyed with her because she went and celebrated the wrong end. So she did a knee slide and I thought that would have been amazing on picture. But she went the other end, and it's a standard thing. I always say it's on every podcast, on everything I do. I swear I just don't have any luck. They just run the opposite direction. But what a goal. Just a moment just to appreciate the quality of goal that was from Blue Wilson. And she's a fantastic player. And, for her first home game as captain as well, for her to go and score that goal. And I said that at a previous podcast when I think she's going to score a few goals this season. And she proves she can do that, running from half away through the pitch, and great finish as well.
Yeah, 25 yards out, absolutely nailed it. And that obviously proved to be the clincher in the end, the only way to separate those two teams. It was a difficult night for Blue, obviously, ecstasy and agony, and sadly in the end. And we just do have to say, a big shout out to the Crawley captain who did, showed true sportsmanship, helping Blue off the field after an injury there. Great to see, obviously competitive game, two very competitive sides, wanting to get on in the league, but yet there's still that moment for humanity, for sportsmanship. It was a tough night for Blue in the end, wasn't it, Ross?
Yeah, it's you hate to see that happen to any player, but especially Blue. Last year pre-season she suffered an injury, she missed the opening games. And then this season, she's given the captain's armband, had a fantastic game against Hounslow, then scored that fantastic goal in the first half. And then second half, it was just one of those, it's just freak injuries, really. She was going into attack with a player, and I actually captured it on my camera, and, her, basically twisting. And, you see that, you go, oh no, this is not good. And then, she got carried off, as you said, by the Crawley Wasps captain, our physio, Lauren. And just in everyone's mind, I'm sure in her mind, she just thought, no, just no. And of course, she, little peek behind the curtain sort of thing, she was saying to the bench and talking to the players, because they were coming over to her and saying, she said, I won't say what she said exactly, but she said, don't you lose this game. And of course, they did her proud. They got the 3 points. Crawley, fair play to them. They dug in deep, but we could have made it 2 or 3, but Crawley were able to keep it just 1-0. But we definitely deserved winners out of the whole game as a whole. But the one sad thing was about Blue's injury. But good news, it's not as serious as we first thought, because she got carried off on a stretcher. I always feel bad taking pictures of people when they're injured and on stretchers, because it's not the greatest sight. But it just captures and pictures the game, because it's a big moment in the game. And I made sure to only use a picture that I thought was probably good in terms of how she was looking. But good news, though, it's not as serious as it was we first thought. And she was at the game on Tuesday night against Gillingham, walking unaided. So fingers crossed it isn't as bad as we first thought, because we thought it was a season ender. I think she probably thought that too, and we all thought that. But thankfully, it's not as serious as first thought.
That's great news, and obviously, like you say, it's bad at any time to get some sort of season-ending injury, let alone second game into the season. That's exactly the time you don't want to get anything like that. But great to hear that she's obviously on the mend. We'll sort of keep you up to date with when she'll be likely to be back in the squad as it goes in the next few weeks. So that was Sunday. 1-0, 3 more points in the bag. And then Tuesday night, you got sent off to Kent, Ross, for Gillingham. Third game, another away game. And Town carried on their winning ways there. It was a 3-0 victory in the end. A great night, another great night away.
Yeah. Another thing is clean sheets. I think that sometimes can win leagues. It's just keeping them clean sheet. That defence. I want to give a shout out to Paige Peake and Liv Smith. Their partnership currently is fantastic. It's definitely grown on me. In the 3 games we've watched them, and they've been a fantastic partnership. Once again, I want to talk about this shenanigans before the game. Peek behind the curtain, of course.
We love those peeks behind the curtain, Ross.
Definitely, you got to. I'm sure a lot of other people got stuck in the M25 because a lorry broke down, and they decided not to open up any of the lanes. So we were stuck there for 10-15 minutes. I think the coach was very much far behind us. So I travelled with good old Kieran and Natasha Thomas and Massimo, the cameraman. And we were thinking, are we actually going to get to the game? Because this is a standstill on M25. And of course, the coach, I don't think even was on the M25. So, but no, luckily we got there. And Rochester United, standard non-league ground. I've been to worse, I'll say. But it did the job. Although there was no food after the game. Well, there was nibbles, but no food for me to consume. So then
I was going to say, let's get into that then, Ross. Because on this podcast, we like to get Ross to rate the away day foods. He's had a mixture so far this season. But yeah, no food for you to rate this week.
No. I'll quickly just give a shout out to Gold Star. I won't be doing this every episode, but Gold Star had a burger. And then I also went to Wimpy. Do you remember Wimpy? They're still a thing.
Felixstowe is one of the only places that still has a Wimpy.
Yeah,
used to have one at home in Peterborough, but there's one still in Felixstowe very randomly.
So yeah, probably not the most healthiest of dinners for me. I had a burger at the stadium after the game, and then I went to Wimpy and had an all-day breakfast. So but yeah, it was nice. But anyway, on to Gillingham. At Rochester United. I actually didn't consume any food while I was there because I think there was nibbles after the game, but I decided not to. But we went and stopped off at Services in Thurrock, and I had a meal deal, standard meal deal from WH Smith, and a nice flapjack. I bought 2 flapjacks and had the second one this afternoon. So,
how would you rate that meal deal? Indeed, the flapjack, Ross. Seeing as you've got anything else to rate.
Standard a 5 out of 10, but yeah, not. Hopefully, we ain't got to go to Rochester United again. Or I understand it was a Tuesday night. I'm sure it is, very late notice for them to sort out food, but we'll see how we get on. I think the next away day is Chichester. I think on the 5th of September. I think that's the right one. I don't know. I may have got my facts wrong there, but don't quote me. But anyway, move on to the game itself.
Yeah, if you do have any suggestions, if you know any of the away sides home get, if you know any of the stadiums that the away games are going to be played at this season, and you have any particular kind of food suggestions, things that Ross should try, maybe, do let us know on Twitter. We'll repeat our handles at the end as we usually do. But if you do have any suggestions anywhere that Ross should go after the game if the food's not particularly good, let us know. And we'll report back after the next away game. But let's get back to the pitch. You were talking about Paige Peake before. Of course, Paige Peake scored that first goal. It was a penalty. Now you've got in trouble with talking about Paige Peake and penalties. I believe we have a correction to make, Ross.
Yeah, when I arrived at Rochester, Sarah Contrail, the new goalkeeper, and Bodie Horwood were there. And Sarah pointed out she listened to the pod. So thanks, Sarah, if you listen to this one.
Sarah.
Hello. And she did a correction because on the previous episode, I said that I've never seen Paige Peake miss a penalty. Now, apparently she missed a penalty in training. Obviously, I wasn't there, but I'm sure Sarah is probably, she must have saved it. So I'm sorry, Sarah, but thankfully Paige scored in this game. Yeah.
Thankfully, yeah. So that first goal of the game belonged to Paige Peake. Fantastic penalty to
cool as you like as well. Cool as you like. She just steps up and she just buries it. Just brilliant. I just love that. Just she picks up the ball, puts it at the spot. She knows where she's going. Boom, no chance, goalkeeper. And it was definitely a penalty, by the way. There's no, of course my verdict. It was a penalty.
No, fantastic. And Town of course made it 3-0 in, so 2 further goals. I know there's been a correction on the goal scorer for is it the second goal, I believe. I think it was initially given to Abby Lafayette, but after review it's been given to Tash Thomas. So that's 102 for Tash. She is going to keep on going throughout the season, Ross.
Yeah, VAR had to get involved, and the panel had to decide. Basically, I think the angle probably Kieran was on. He probably couldn't see it, and he probably just saw, Laffy whip the ball in, and he probably just didn't think anybody touched it, and it went into the back of the net. But I got a picture of the angle where you see her basically, it's not over the line yet, and Tash has headed it. And of course, Tash travelled with me and Kieran, and I showed her the picture, and she went, "That's my goal, innit?" And of course, we then had to watch it on the video as well. And yep, Tash has got the goal. I think even fans who were there as well, I think they had the good angle as well, where they can say, "Yep, Tash definitely headed that in." And another goal for her to add to her collection. And yeah, once again, I'm pleased with scoring from corners because that's one thing I was saying before the game. I went, I want us to score a corner this week from a corner. If you score a direct corner, then brilliant. But one good thing as well, I think it was caught on camera. I didn't hear it at the time, but someone then told me after the game that Laffy pretty much said, Paige Peak who? Because, of course, Paige Peak used to score from a direct corner. And that's probably Laffy thought she did that as well. But unfortunately, Tash got the touch. But great corner, though, overall.
Yeah. And of course, 3 goals in 3 games for Tash this season. What a way to start the season, reminiscent of Arsenal's Miedema.
Yes,
with those sort of figures. But yeah, and then that third goal belonged to Sophie Peskett to round off the game for Town. 3-0, strong ending, and a strong sign again, Ross. I think that Town are really, making waves in this new league.
Yeah, if you were there, you probably couldn't believe that we hadn't, scored more really. In the first half, we could have been 4 or 5-0 up. But, fair play to Gillingham. They were defensively really, really solid. We just kept hitting the post and, their keeper had made a good few saves. Peskett, of course, in the Crawley game, she missed a 1-on-1. But this time, she made sure she wasn't going to do that again. She scored a 1-on-1. Great little finish from her. And little peek behind the curtain thing again from me. I always, because I'm doing the graphics for Kieran, and when Tash scored the second goal, I was then looking through my pictures, and I took my card out to then put it on the graphic just to prepare it. And of course, I looked up and went, "Oh God, Pessett's coming," and I was like thinking, she's definitely not going to miss this. So I quickly rushed and she scored it. So I missed her scoring and I missed her celebrating with Tash. But I got the other celebration. But I was like thinking, all the times I decided to change my card, they then go and score. So I have learnt my lesson. I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm just going to wait until like the 89th minute and I'm sure we'll be 3-0 up or something. I'm not going to do it like when we just score the second because that is how quick it was. It was so quick. Basically, it was from kickoff. We then scored the third goal and Peskett was, in and goal, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Didn't muck about, scored it, and good goal.
Why does it always happen to you?
I think sometimes I'm just silly with my timings. I think I need to. You think I'll learn my lesson from all my years that I've been doing photography. This always happens, and I should just learn, but I just don't because I just feel they're not going to score again that quickly. They'll be, I'm sure they won't, but they do. They always do.
Well, there you go. Lesson learned for Ross there. If you do see him at a game and he's looking down and somebody happens, one of the girls happens to be running up the pitch, looks at the goal, just shout at him, tell him, Ross, look up now, please.
Yeah.
So if you are at a game and, that does happen, give Ross a hand because luck is clearly not on your side, my friend.
No. And I want to quickly give some shout outs to a few players from both the games. Laffy has been mentioned a few times. Unfortunately, she doesn't get her first goal of the season, but unbelievable performance on Tuesday night. She was fantastic all over the pitch. So big shout out to her. Bonnie Hallward, of course, was captain in place for Blue. There was just moments in the game I just thought, wow, what a player. She just turned defenders in circles and she's experienced player.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What a signing for Town this season she is. And she's really proving her worth. And I can see why she was sort of handed that captaincy in Blue's absence. She brings such experience to the game. Just a perfect choice for that, really. Yeah.
And also a shout out to, another young player coming through, Summer Hughes, who's played in the last 2 games. She started for this game. She came off the bench in the Crawley game and she's just electric. She can play as a fullback, she can play as a winger. Just another great player coming through the youth ranks at the club. Joe knows his players, and we've got another star in the making with Summer Hughes. Great name, by the way.
What a wonderful name. I do. Some of the girls at Town have fantastic names. I remember, I think we've said this on the podcast before, but when Blue signed, I know there was much excitement in the office. That I think the phrase going around at the time was "Blues are blue." Yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely. So I guess having looked back, we better look forward to Town's next league game. It's back at home, back at the Gold Star, against another slightly sort of unknown force in Cardiff City. They are the top-ranking Welsh side in any of the English leagues. Quite a historic side, sort of 45 years behind them. They haven't had the best start to the season. but they'll obviously be looking to make up ground against Town, Ross.
Yeah, of course, a long trip for them. Of course,
Absolutely.
we're gonna have to make that trip as well. But I think they're playing. We were looking beforehand, before going live on this recording. We looked at they're playing on Thursday night, and then they of course got to travel on Saturday. I think they're staying over, and they'll be playing on Sunday. But we've also had a big turnaround of games as well. We played Sunday, Tuesday, and then Sunday again. But it's just the start of the season. Games come thick and fast. And then, unfortunately for them, they have got a quick turnaround and they've got to travel to Suffolk. But this will be an interesting game because, we probably don't know much about them. I'm sure Joe's got his information and stuff on them.
Eye on it, Ross, I'm sure.
Yeah. But they've not had the best start, Cardiff. 2 defeats out of the first 2 games. Of course, as of this recording, they've got to play Thursday, so we won't know until that game happens. But I'm sure Joe will keep an eye on it. And it'll be interesting. I said in previous pods that I've seen us play Cardiff before. I think this is probably 5 years ago. We played them in the League Cup or the FA Cup, and we lost 6-0 at home. So we want to.
Very different Town side. So it's practically be interesting to see what point they're at. Obviously, having had such a bad start to the season compared to this very different and very high flying Town team.
Pretty much, and I think there's only maybe Linz and Tash who was part of that side. Now we've got a whole different, fantastic players, and of course Joe's manager now. I think it was Ralph Pruden who was the manager then, and it was my first ever season. I think that was only my second ever game. I think the first game was 1-1 against Enfield, and then this was my second game watching them, and I thought, maybe I'm the bad luck here. Maybe I shouldn't come, but thankfully I'm still here, and here we are.
Oh, bless you, Ross. That's just so sad.
No, luckily
I'm laughing. I'm not sure if I'm laughing or crying because that's just so sad. But look at how far they've come since then, and you've been by their side ever since. So you are not a bad luck charm, Russell.
No.
No, but so that's where Town are headed next. They're headed home for that game against Cardiff. I think one thing to mention as well for poor Cardiff, this is not only is it 2 games in such a tight turnaround, obviously like Town's, but it's 2 away games in such a tight turnaround, and neither of those are particularly short journeys for them. So be interesting to see if that has any kind of effect on the players in Sunday's game. But like we always say, you can go and head out and watch that game in person on Sunday. Tickets are free for True Blue supporters. I remember these. I remember these bits, Ross. And then about £5 for adults. So it's it's less than your match day pint. So go head down to the Gold Star if you've not been before, or you're a regular fan. Say hi to Ross. Tell him to keep an eye out for those goals that he's going to miss. It should be an interesting one, Ross. Should be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's bank holiday weekend as well, so opportunity to have do your weekend right. Enjoy a trip to Felixstowe, watch the girls in action. Hopefully see some more goals. And I also want to correct myself because in previous episode I said it's free for season ticket holders, but it isn't. A lot of people were correcting me at the game on Sunday, saying, "Ross, you were wrong on the podcast." And I went, "Oh, I don't know." I get told things and I forget very easily. But you've corrected myself, and I apologise. I will make sure
it's free for the True Blue supporters. £5 for adults. So great day out for not a lot, and you get to see Ross.
Yeah. And the players, of course. And the players.
Good football. But Ross is a bonus, obviously.
Yeah.
So like you said, that's the next game against Cardiff. And then as Ross, I fact-checked you, Ross, after those corrections. It is against Chichester away on the 5th of September, according to the data we have. But what a great start to the season. The only way is keep going up, hopefully, Ross.
Yeah, more goals, please. And keep winning. And I think it's going to be an exciting season once again. A full season, hopefully. Get rid of everything's been going on. It's just been, as I said at the start of the show, it's just fantastic that the girls can play football again, competitive football, fans can be at the game. And it's been a fantastic start. Can they make it 4 out of 4? We'll wait and see on Sunday.
That's the big question, and hopefully they'll inspire the other half of the club to some victories as well, because we'd quite like that too.
Yes.
So hopefully the lads will see how well the girls are doing. I quite like a bit of that 3-point action as well. So yeah, fantastic. So that's everything we've got to chat about this week. We'll be back after that Cardiff game. In the meantime, you can always catch up with us on the social medias. I am at Katy Sandalls, Katy with a Y, Sandals with 2 L's. And Ross, you are at
Ross Media UK, and of course Kings of Anglia on all the socials.
Absolutely. We are a firm part of the KOA family and absolutely loving it. Shout out to you guys with your little awards nod this week from the social awards. Do get voting for them as well, please.
Yes.
All the information for that, find it on the KOA Twitter as well. Best of luck.
Thank you. Oh, of course, we've been for the Archant Awards. We've been nominated
we're waiting
as well.
For those. That'll be next month. You're not going. I'm going. I don't know what will happen. I hope it'll be good.
Well, if you win, then yeah. Or if we win, then you'll be doing the only, the speech, basically.
Yeah. So you guys have left me the only one going. So I will report back. It's at the time of recording, it's almost exactly a month away. So it'll be interesting to see how we do there. So yeah, although you can't vote for that, like I say, you can vote for the social awards. Please do. Please give the boys all the love you can on Twitter. And we'll be back soon. Thanks for listening. And yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.